I was born in Salford, in Greater Manchester. Went to primary school, didn't like school, went to secondary school, didn't like that either. I left school at the age of 16 with no qualifications, and I met 3 people who were using recreational drugs. They were smoking cannabis, they were using amphetamine. I started to hang around with them and take the same kind of drugs that they were taking. It wasn't long before we'd moved from the recreational drugs to heroin. Eventually I went to see a doctor. The diagnosis was amphetamine psychosis, and that was the lowest point of my life because now I was out of control. I had an anxiety in my stomach, I had a fear, and these voices were coming from everywhere. Flash forward 9 years, I was still hearing voices, and I moved into a new little flat down a little cul-de-sac, still in Greater Manchester, in a place called Rochdale. My next door neighbour invited me to church. I went to church, I felt really out of place. I remember sitting there thinking, what time is this going to be over? Then the guy gets up to speak, and after his little message, he said, "We believe in a God who can heal. Is anybody here with any issues?" I'm thinking, I've got some of those. He said, "If you want to be prayed for, come to the front." And I literally ran to the front. I remember him praying for me, and as he prayed for me, I had an epiphany. I remember shaking as he was praying for me. I had a feeling like there was fire inside my body, and tears started to run down my cheeks. And I opened my eyes, and I haven't been the same from that day since. The voices disappeared straight away. Within 4 weeks, I was off all the drugs. I haven't taken drugs since. And I realised that God could take my mess and turn it into a message. That He could take my negative experiences and use them in a positive way. That none of my past life had been wasted. We've now been going for 15 years. We've got 2 offices, I've got staff, and often I have to pinch myself. I often think where I've come from, and I come back to places like this, and I think where I am now. And you know what? I realise now that God changed me 19 years ago, and I can stand before you today, still changed 19 years later. You see, God can change you, and He can keep you changed.